What's good, YouTube? And welcome to my favorite comment on the last video being that it always looks like I win at bingo night. That is the nicest way anybody's ever told me how old I look. And seriously, I summon all 5 pieces of bingo to obliterate everybody. I do enjoy the back and forth. That being said, let's go ahead and get into today's market watch, starting with new maximum prices for people avoiding maximum gold cards. With Prime Math McAllen being near $60 for the secret rare, getting bought out even past the $40 point. It's mind-blowing to me how far people will go, but I want to remind you that it is the WCQ season as we head into it. Even if we're not for sure on the ban list for the WCQ, people are investing into those decks and they want to feel nice about it. Now, whenever I do the little skit about allergic to gold rares, it's because it's a divisive rarity. I think certain cards look amazing in gold rare, while others not so much. But when it comes to maximum gold, that's probably why we got allowed to double sleeve in the community, not just Starlight rares. It came after max gold, and for max gold cards, they can be identified sometimes in the main deck. You'll want to actually shuffle, look through your own deck, see if you can identify any cards, but it's highly speculated on that the reason we get double sleeving in the TCG now is max gold and those cards being a bit thicker. They are extra layers of things on the card to make them look with that nice gloss and that kind of stuff that, again, some people like and some don't. Now, I personally am a fan of certain cards like Hope Harbinger and its gold form, the gold secret rare, but that's going to come down to taste and card by card for myself personally too. That being said, again, a bit of a tangent, gold rare is just highly divisive and you either love it, you don't, or you like certain cards in the rarity. Nightmare Unicorn by that WCQ vibe. People are buying out the max rarity versions when you have a nice accessible rare, and you do see even the Flood secret rare really spiking up here, and you see that collector rare actually starting to go back up. A lot of people have asked why this wasn't up in the past to me. It's a staple. It keeps floating back into different formats, and to that I say, it's a one of, and it's not even the boss monster. It's kind of that piece that summons out and takes care of a problem, but it's still a pretty cool card, and you do see it start to actually rebound here, but versus its past, it's still down pretty bad. And then Masquerena, you know, you have the waifu aspect of this. Its secret rare is headed towards like $25 right now in super low quantities. You can see here the lowest is around 24, quickly 25 for near mint, and you have tons of different options, but almost every single version is $12+ even its maximum gold rare. So be aware, people are spending extra money heading into the WCQ to play the versions of things they want. They want to feel good about their deck, they want to be performing and enjoy what they're looking at. And speaking of that, code What's Good 5 for 5% off and support the channel directly will work over at Tapio Cards just in time for the new Demon Slayer season. You have them putting out an awesome deck box bundle, and I do believe there's a giveaway. If you buy in, you might be one of 5 lucky people that doesn't even have to pay for their deck box if they actually sell out of it this week. If they don't, then there will not be that giveaway. So hopefully they fulfill, and if they do get to fulfill, also I believe they have a handoff option at one of the YCS's Philadelphia coming up, but they do have to actually end up selling a certain amount of the deck boxes in order to make that a reality. So if you want to get it sooner than later using code What's Good 5 for 5% off and to support the channel directly. Otherwise, the print run might take longer to get there. Looking through at certain buyouts, Scareclaw is starting to spike up in price, especially as an engine. As I understand, it does pretty good with Manadome. I have not watched any testing for that, but a lot of people seem super hyped for Manadome, and there's a lot of buyouts going around it. Hopefully I'm saying that right too. But we see here that this card has gone up to $9, and you also do have the Scareclaw secret rare really up there despite there being a ton of quantities. It just seems a lot of people already had this because it's gone up and down several times, so they were more prepared for being able to list it if it did go up, and it's still towards one of its maximum prices for the link. The Punk engine, actually, we do figure that it's likely to get reprints towards the 10s and stuff, right? But when it comes down to this, we see the collector rare starting to spike, and this engine feels like it gets underestimated at the start of almost every format, and then looked up and then played, and then it goes back up pretty much since it's come out. It even started low. I remember Foxy Toon was like a $7 ultra rare, and now it's towards $25. But again, remember, potential reprints on the horizon with upcoming sets, and I do think that going for that max rarity helps you lose less value when the reprint does get there because, well, hey, you got the max rarity as long as it's not a 25th rare. Visa Starfrost here also is way up in price. Again, that hype going in towards new decks, etc. And even if there is a reprint somewhere on the horizon, it's gonna be a while, so people want to get their copies here. You see it's just absolutely skyrocketed and gone back towards 30, 35, just crazy prices. Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. Both the regular version has started to creep up here back towards being a $10+ card, and the collector rare is slowly creeping back up, 87-ish dollars. We can just blame MBT for this one, right? Yeah, we just all blame MBT together collectively. Xyz Encore is a tech option to be able to deal, with Kashtira Xyz and anything else playing Xyz, but this is definitely an interesting card that has come up in talks. It's actually seen some competitive play, and here it has once again spiked over time, super low on quantities, buyout mode once again. It just happens over and over for this card, it feels like, but this time it's doing a little something. I love to follow pro players like Jeff on Twitter and actually see their takes, and it reminds me to look up cards. So if you're ever trying to look around and get ahead of things, following pros is where it's at. They call it the pack tax for a reason with pack, right? But when it comes down to this, I was like, yeah, Droll went up recently. I should recheck that. And the collector rare, and they actually went through double, triple down on the buyout. And now the collector rare is like headed through the $80 price range. Pretty wild for a card that was just sitting there for so long around 50, 55. But do be aware that people are on this. And the ulti is about where we left it last time. It's around the $160. It's still up versus its market price. People aren't really wanting to sell it for down 140, etc. But it's not really moving off the shelf too fast at 160. We do see some recent sales in history for like light plays, playset of Near Mint actually. But mostly, around this range, it hasn't been the fastest mover, but the collector rare version that was cheaper, people are willingly going for that mid-max on Droll. And I gotta say, one thing to remember with Tama is that the rare was short printed when they started to mess with the ratios in the deck building set, but not towards the hollows. So do be aware that this rare, it could start to go fast if there is a format that sees Droll a ton. Within this current format, we're seeing it at the Houston regionals. I was already like, I think Droll is really good. We're not seeing it as much as I thought we would. And then towards the later rounds, Droll started to appear a bunch, and now you're seeing Droll really catch on, and Jeff is even saying, hey, in future formats, this is likely. I am playing it in Purely, and it's good against Purely. It's good against everything in future formats. And I love that insight where you actually get to see where it works in. And now in the OCG, it conflicts with Maxi, right? Like you might want to stop him at some point. You might want him to keep going. You have to make harder decisions. Where in the TCG, Maxi is not really that big of an issue, which this would again counter, but also conflict with. And you see it actually take that place more as a win button sometimes in the TCG. And speaking of Purely, I just wanted to check in, and I see the buyouts haven't stopped here. They keep going and going despite the box staying under value of $60. But man, people have been crazily, really propping this deck up. And I do look forward to how it performs. I think initially I underestimated it. Now I expect it to be a rogue deck that does achieve top cut here and there and isn't just oh, that's so cute. And that's the thing. Whenever I see an initial deck and read through it and think about it, I'm not always right. Heck, the top pros aren't always right. There's still speculation, there's performance, how the OCG differs from the TCG, but then you can see how they do it in the OCG and get that head start with it. And I feel like with Purely, that's where a lot of people are. So this has a lot going for it on its collector rares, but not so much on the set itself outside Purely currently. But with all of it bubbling up, I think we might see this box continue to go up too. It'll be one to watch for sure. Collector rare sets, their ratios are so awful on even just the normal cards, let alone the collector rares themselves. So we'll have to wait and see how it does perform and how people go after it over time. The singles that exist, how really pricey they can get, and how the deck performs, with also Fire Warrior being exciting and other aspects to this. But again, I think that it'll probably start to creep up just a hair because it's already headed that way. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversations, and hopefully we lose the sunglasses indoors soon.